This is Noel Hart here, talking about the K-5 science endorsement. And today we're going to talk about the structure and the assessment. And so we're going to discuss about the different assessments that we'll be using and essentially the structure that we'll be using it. We'll call them either courses or modules or units, but essentially you've got three different courses this year. And what is expected for each course for that we can assess that you will have passed or completed the K-5 science endorsement. That's the things that we'll be going over in this session. So we have three assessments that we'll look at to see if you've completed or not. The first one is the science portfolio. The next one is the content post test. And the last one is an exemplar video that you will send to us in Unit 2 or Unit 3 or Course 2 and Course 3, depending upon the language we want to use. So when we look at the science portfolio, there are some things that we're going to be looking for. One is the reading and reflections. You're going to have three reading and reflections, and each one of those reading and reflection we're saying is going to take an hour. So you'll need 10 reading reflections every single unit or module or course. We will give you a file of a bunch of readings that you can look at. So you won't have to go out and look for them if you don't want to. We'll give you a lot of PDFs to look at. And then you'll give a quick reflection on those readings. And you'll submit those 10 reading and reflections for each unit. We'll also have a unit plan, which will have 4 to 5 lessons. And in that plan, we're adding little bits of different things, elements that you'll be adding on to your science lesson plan. So the first one will be differentiated instruction. The second one will add technology piece, and the third one will add STEM practices. And so you'll submit a plan with 4 to 5 lessons on it, with those elements to it, depending upon what unit it's in. Then we'll also have a multi-grade level presentation where you and a teacher, so if you're a 3 through 5 grade teacher, you'll be teaming up with a K through 2 level teacher and vice versa. And you will look at a standard, like an earth science standard that maybe is taught in first grade and then is taught again in fourth grade. And that way you guys can look to see how that standard grows from what is being taught as a bedrock in K through 2 and how we expand on that through 3 through 5. And you will give a presentation on that, and that will be done in course 3. Then there will also be a unit standard assessment reflection. So once I've taught that 3 to 5 lessons, then I will also do a reflection on that. And I will do a reflection on my student assessment data. So I'm going to give a pre-test of the beginning of my unit and a post-test at the end of my unit. And then I'm going to look at that data and I'm going to discuss the misconceptions needed. And of course, we have a rubric for that that we'll show you. And then you'll have practicum requirements. So you'll have to have 3 hours of practicum observing K-5 instructors. And so this will come as an hour each unit or module or course. And you will need to observe for 1 hour essentially. So when we look at that, I'll show you kind of the rubrics that we'll use for this. So this is the K-5 portfolio rubric. So this is the entire rubric that we'll look at. And this right here is just grading your unit lesson plan. So we'll talk about essentially all the TEAC standards in your lesson plan and we'll rate those. And what we're looking for is proficient. And then once we've rated that, then we'll rate your student assessment data rubric and we'll show you what the form of that will look like. But again, we want proficient for that. This is the practicum hours rubric, and essentially it's just asking that you have, you have 1 hour of practicum. And then we have a reading reflection, which says that you have 10 hours or 10 science reading reflections per course. And of course, then we'll put that together, and that will be your total grade. 80% and above will then be able to pass you for your K-5 science endorsement. In your data, we have that you will put your data sheet in here, and this will be your pre-test, this will be your post-test, and as you can see, we gave it for each unit or course that you're in. And then if you're in Unit 1, you'll answer these questions. Unit 2, you'll answer these questions. Unit 3, you'll answer these questions. And so you'll turn that one sheet in, and that's how we'll look to see if you've done your student assessment data analysis. In the multi-grade level presentation, the one where two teachers come together from different grade bands and do a presentation, this will be your rubric that you will look at there. And of course, we'll give you all these rubrics within the classroom so that you can look at them in depth. And then in the field log, this is the field log that we'll have. You'll tell us for course 1 what teacher you observed, the time, and then you'll start putting in your reading and reflection here. This is all for course one, then this is for course two, course three, and then your student assessment data, you'll tell us how much time you used for that, and then you'll tell us how much time you used for lesson planning. And essentially, over and all, you'll give us the whole time in all of what you will need for your field log for your K-5 science endorsement. All that will be used for your science portfolio, which will let us know that you have fulfilled that part of the assessment portfolio. Another way that we will assess to see if you have completed is there will be content post test. So you'll actually have a pre test about the content that we'll talk about for each course. And that one doesn't matter. But at the end, you'll have the post assessment, which will be kind of like the pre assessment. And in that one, after we go through the science content, science standards, we are hoping that you make 70% or higher on the next test. If you don't, there is remediation so that we can talk to you about what you'll need to know so that way you can pass it the second time around. However, we need you to pass these tests for you to get the K-5 science endorsement. So remember that these content, we will give you a study guide and things like that so that you will be able to know. Plus, the readings and reflections that you have, they could also help you out studying for this content post test. The exemplar video will happen in course two and three. And essentially, when you take that unit lesson plan that has 4 to 5 lessons, you're going to record one of your class sessions. And these can be screencast. So you can, if they're virtual, you can definitely screencast your lesson. And you will send that lesson in to us. We will grade that lesson with the lesson rubric, and I'll show you what that rubric looks like. And the videos will, and then we're asking for 70% or higher, and then we'll give you comment, and then you'll give commentary. If you don't, then you'll have to reteach a lesson and then submit it in that way. Okay. So hopefully, though, you will know exactly what our standards are because we will have laid the expectation down so fully for you that you will know what we're looking for when we look at the unit science test. And so this right here is your video lesson assignment. And so we're just looking for classroom culture, science content is intellectually engaging, instruction fosters and monitors student understanding, students organize, relate, and apply their scientific language, students are involved in 3D learning, and then we'll put your score down there. And of course, we're looking at operational for those. So again, we will have this out so that you can look at it. So it's not like this is secret. We want to give you these rubrics, but that way you know that's how we are going to assess you. So those are the 3 ways that we're assessing you. Just remember that we are looking at your science portfolio, your content post standard, and then your exemplar video. And the exemplar video will be in course two and three. The science portfolio and the content post standard will be done in all 3 of the courses. Okay. I hope this clears some things up, but we are willing to take questions. Have a great day.